Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of the Poses with Purpose Challenge. You know, we're doing a really unique thing here. Each day we add on a new pose, and Regena gets to share that with us and with all her grace. Speaking of grace, we talked about grace yesterday. Well, she is graceful, so she gets to show you all that. And then I start off by just kind of talking about the next pose coming up more from the standpoint of the emotional or spiritual benefits that you can gain from it. And today what we're doing is, and I'll put it up here in a second, but it's extended triangle, side angle. And the spiritual benefits that come off of that are the ability to twist with life and flexibility. And right now we're all being tested, right? And that ability to sort of twist with life. And I'm going to take a little bit of a track here. I'm going to share something. It's actually kind of a cool thing I'm going to share with you, and it may be meaningful for you. It certainly was for me. But when my kids were young, actually, I shouldn't even say that. I still do this, by the way, because then they're 28 and 30 years old. But there's this, like, sometimes when they were 5 minutes late calling me, or I thought they should be somewhere that they weren't, or whatever, I would immediately go to worst case scenario. So I think a lot of moms are going to relate with this, right? So, and I get on this click track of worry, and it's not a healthy place to be. And really, you're putting out the energy that you don't want. So I started doing this thing, and it really was so helpful. I don't even know where I learned it, but it would do, if I would get on this click track of worry, I would do cancel, 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 cancel. And then I would send in the angels for protection. Sometimes I would send in the angels for protection, and then I would go cancel, cancel, and I'd go, oh, I just canceled out the angels, darn it. So I'd have to start all over again. but it helped me to let go. And here's the thing is that if we really want to ebb and flow with life and what it's throwing at us, we cannot be in that state of fear. And so what I've actually evolved from, and trust me, I still do that at times, because it's sort of like this, just a way I can just let it go if I do start to get into that space. But more often than not, I've actually can just step immediately into the thought process of, I can choose the path of trust, or I can choose the path of fear. And why would I choose a path of fear when the path of trust is sitting there before me? Because here's really, at the end of the day, when you're in trust, and why you can ebb and flow with life and allow the twists of life to actually be something that you embrace, is because when you recognize that when something good happens, you can stand in gratefulness for it and recognize it as a gift. And when something not so good happens, you can stand in gratefulness for that experience and still choose to see it as a gift. And when you can get to that place of trust, then you can actually take anything that life throws at you. And right now, as I said, like, life is throwing a lot at us. There's so much change out there. And right now, people are really being confronted with that. Am I going to trust that this is all going to be okay? Or am I going to go down that path of fear? I choose trust. And I choose it because I don't want to stay in a space of fear and attract the very thing that I don't want. I want to see the beauty that's getting weaved into this time. Because when you can stand in that space of trust, then you can expect all the twists of life to come at you, and you can always see them for the possibilities that lie within them. So with that, I would encourage you to sit down and talk about this with your family, and always look to say, am I standing in trust, or am I standing in fear? Because why would you choose fear when trust is right there? So Regena, though, is going to show us the poses that allow you to twist and to open all that up, and to the flexibility and the grace and the beauty that comes with it. So with that, Regena, go ahead and share our next move.
I would love to. And I want to quickly share a card that I drew this morning before we start that's very appropriate, and it's vitality. And what I love about this mudra, and mudras are basically hand motions that are used as affirmations. They're hand affirmations, so to speak. And what they do is they help remind us to draw our attention and our awareness on that topic or thing that we want. So, for example, vitality is beautiful because vitality is the life force that Cheryl was talking about, of trust. And I think it's a beautiful hand position today, because it's basically what you do is you place your hands in your lap And so what I'd like to invite you to do today is, as we're practicing, I'd like you to keep the mental awareness that you're holding that trust in your hands and in your heart. And knowing that even with the twists and the turns, we can find the confidence and the grace to be able to get through any situation. So let's go ahead and we're going to stand up for revolve triangle. And I love this pose because there's a couple different variations. And we spoke briefly yesterday about props. So if you do have blocks, which you don't need these, but if you have them, they're wonderful tools to support you. So for revolve triangle, what we do is we basically stand in front of the block, or if you're a little bit more flexible and prefer not to have a block, you place your hands in front of you on the ground. And you can basically just put your hands about 3 to 6 inches away from you. And what you're going to do is take your palm, place it on the ground, and then you're going to bend your knees just a tad. If you need a little extra support, you can bend them a little bit more. But it's almost like you're about to lunge forward, like you're on a race, like when you're at the start line of a race. And so you're just going to be prepared for that. And then you're going to lift up from the belly, press your belly towards your spine, lift up, bring your right arm up overhead, and then breathe. And then as you do this pose, you're just going to allow yourself to melt into the pose. So releasing your knees and allowing your knees to straighten. And if it's available, taking your right palm, lifting it up. And if you'd like a little deeper stretch, you can bring your right hand to your left thigh and breathe. Beautiful. Gently release. Bring your right hand back to the center. Bring your head down all the way to the earth, getting a nice deep stretch. Breathe in, exhale. Again, nice big deep breath in, looking up. Exhale. And we'll do the same posture on the other side, and then I'll share with you some of the benefits. Lifting your left arm up overhead. And bringing your left hand all the way up, reaching up towards those fingertips. And then if you'd like, taking a little deeper, take your left hand to your right thigh, twisting even deeper. And exhale. Again, one big deep breath. And exhale. Beautiful. And then drawing down. Beautiful. So that is what we call revolve triangle. Now there is another version that's modified. Okay, so that's a modified revolve triangle. Then the other one, so I'm going to give you a couple here because I know our goal for today was extended triangle. So I'm going to teach you a little bit of a progression. So that's revolve triangle modified. Then you have the traditional, which is without the block, and that's when we've all done this before, where most likely in elementary or middle school in PE classes, we would just bring our left hand to our right leg, arm up overhead, nice and easy, getting a nice deep stretch in the back leg, in the shins, in the calves, and getting a nice spinal twist in the core. So nice and simple. Some of us even have done these exercises, right? Where it's very intuitive. It might be something you've done before, but you didn't realize you've done. So that's revolve triangle, not modified. And then extended triangle, side angle is basically just one of these where you're actually coming to a warrior, which we'll get into those poses that we've done before in the last few days. We'll do those in a progression in just a moment. But this is extended. So side angle would be here, and then extended side angle would be taking the arm up overhead. Nice big deep breath. Getting a nice deep stretch in the side, and then let's take it to the other side. So your left foot now is parallel to the long end of the mat, and the right foot is parallel to the short end of the mat. Right arm up overhead, and then reaching up through those fingertips, getting a really nice big stretch, and then bringing right arm up overhead for extended side angle. And then bring your arms up overhead. So you can notice that as you're doing these poses, you're actually doing more than one. So yes, absolutely, it is one pose, but you see how easy it is to go from one yoga pose to 4. So in 3 days, we're on day 4. So in 4 days, you've actually learned, I think, almost 10 poses, right? Because we had 4 today plus 3 yesterday. That's 7, and then 8, 9, and 10. So as you can see, it's very easy to move into the rhythm of yoga. And even if you're not sure if you're doing it right, just practice. Just keep practicing. And you guys are doing a great job. We've been getting amazing feedback and results. So thank you so much for continuing to be on this journey with us. And I wanted to be sure that I shared with you a couple of the benefits, and then we'll go back through and I'll share with you the poses that we did on day 1, 2, day 3, and then of course today. Okay, so a couple benefits of the side angle revolved triangle, a couple benefits of the extended side angle triangle pose and then revolved triangle. It's very relative, right? It's all based in the core. It's allowing you to twist, right? So you're getting a nice deep stretch in the abdominal area, in the respiratory system. It's also really good for digestion, because anytime you're working with the core and you're working with the main area here with our mula bandha and our rib cage area, you're opening all that up, allowing for more openness and more deeper breathing through the lungs, right? It's also really good for energy and vitality, which is so perfect and appropriate because we were talking about that earlier. And then it's really good for, like I said, energy, but also it's actually really good for detoxifying the system in the body. And that's one of the reasons that I chose these poses, was because I really wanted to invite you to do something that allows you to activate your body, activate your cells, and rejuvenate them, because we know how important it is for our bodies to regenerate our cells. It's very, very vital for our health and wellness, and especially right now, we need that. So it's very poignant poses for what we're doing, chosen with a lot of intention and purpose, because we know that these are powerful poses. They're simple, but they're powerful. So I want to go back to the first pose we did on day 1, which was standing arch, right? So this is also known as back bend. So we just literally take a nice little back bend. And the idea here is that our hips are drawing down into the earth energetically, right? So we're rooting into the earth with our heels, and with our hips reaching down towards the earth, our tailbone is pressing down into the earth. So imagining like a cylinder, your body's moving, imagine a circle, and your body's moving down, the energy is moving down into the earth. So we have that beautiful standing arch, hands at the heart, breathe. Beautiful. And then on our second day, we did, let me get my notes here.
We did warrior. It was warrior 2.
Thank you. I can't believe we're already on day 4. It's like amazing. Thanks, Cheryl. So day 4, we did warrior, which we remember warrior is a nice graceful pose. It allows us to be strong and courageous in our lives. And so we bend our right knee, we bring our arms up, looking up past our fingertips, nice and strong. And one of the most important elements of the pose, anybody remember? Smile. Super important, right? And then we want to shift sides, our little OCD lovers in the house, but mostly because we want to be symmetrical, and we want to make sure that we're giving that signal to the brain that we are equal on both parts. So it's a psychological thing, but it's also very much a physical, making sure that we're getting that blood flow. Perfect. And then day 3, we did
revolved triangle. Revolved triangle.
Revolved triangle. Thank you. Thank you so much. Revolved triangle. So revolved triangle, we did some of it today. And so revolved triangle, we are right here. Oh, actually, pardon me. Revolved triangle was, so revolved triangle is here. And I'm switching sides just so you can see, right? And then extended triangle is bringing our hands up overhead. So it's very, very similar, but small little modifications make a difference. So I'm going to go through the flow one more time so you can see what it looks like to go through it. And again, it's not a traditional vinyasa flow because, you know, each pose is a little bit, it stands on its own. So just know that. But that's how we do it. So standing arch. And then we come into warrior two. And then revolve triangle. And then side angle. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side so you can see what that looks like. So again, I'm going to come back to center, close my eyes just for intention, rooting into the earth, pressing down towards my heels, exhaling out my mouth. One more nice deep breath in through my nose, and then exhaling out our mouths, arms up overhead, taking a little back bend. Beautiful, hands to heart. And then warrior two. This time facing this side. Beautiful. And then coming to revolve triangle. Left arm up, actually right arm up this time. And again, this is where you would twist if you wanted a little deeper stretch. And then coming back to center. And then extended. And then back to center, arms up. And then if you want to end the practice today, we can end with a beautiful vitality mudra. And that's what we started with, just reminding ourselves to hold that trust in our hands and in our hearts. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for day 4 of our Poses with Purpose challenge, 10-day challenge. And we're so delighted to do this journey with you. And we're excited for tomorrow, day 5. We're going to do more actually laying down, a pose laying down. And we're super excited to share it with you. So have a beautiful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.